back again with another one. You are now tuned in to the underground. My name is Mbaya. I go by the doctor. If you are not subscribed yet, you need to do that ASAP. What I have for you today is not a full haircut. It is a back taper. I'm definitely just gonna go ahead and cut this down really quickly with a number 1, fully closed all the way with the lever action. I am going to go ahead and smooth everything out up top, but I will be demonstrating a back taper and the lineup around the ear on both the right side and the left side, and how you should go about the finger placement. So quickly, I'm going to go ahead and bring this down one guard, completely closed with the lever, making sure everything's nice and smooth, all the way neat. And I'm going to do a hard part like he had before, so I'm not really going to show all that. I'm just going to focus on the taper. So like I said, if you're not subscribed, you need to do that ASAP right now. Hit that button. If you have any questions with anything that I'm about to demonstrate in this video, definitely leave a comment. If you don't feel like leaving a comment, hit me up on my other different platforms. I respond right away. You can hit me up with the DM and definitely shoot for it. Let me know what's up. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in on this, make sure that you all can see what's going on, and I'm gonna go straight into this with my trimmer, creating my bald guideline. And mind you, this is on the kid. Kids can be very dodgy and shifty, very, antsy with it, ants in the pants, you know what I'm saying? So I did put a harsh line in this taper, but it's for demonstration purposes. So I'm gonna go ahead and go right underneath that guideline and soften it up just a little bit by, of course, flipping the blade the opposite direction and going right underneath that. That should definitely solve your problem if you've been having a hard time removing that line after going straight at it. So just a FYI, if you didn't know, that by having the fixed blade on top versus having it under will have you create a harsh line, which is harder to remove. You should flip it over and just go under. If you don't know, now you know. Anyway, with the clipper lever all the way open, no guard, I'm going to create my second guideline. And of course, with my number 1 guard now, I'm going to create my third guideline and go into the hair with the clipper lever open. And if you don't know, I create all my guidelines with the clipper lever open. Then when it comes down to erasing the lines or the guidelines, I'm blending them, I start to close. So I just closed halfway, closed all the way to soften up that line, and slowly start erasing it. And now I'm going to go ahead and throw on my 0 guard, or my 0.5, some people call it. It's just a half guard, and start to erase that guideline that was created completely by opening and closing halfway, then closing all the way. That should soften up a lot more. And after I execute this 0 guard, I'm going to go ahead and start going onto those notches or clicks that I haven't used. I'm just smoothing it out. So be the judge of what it is that you see. This should help. And if you have to run this video back, run it back so you can watch what I'm doing with that lever. It's very straightforward. It's easy stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead and lose the guard completely and start to soften up that line with a different clipper, of course. And just so you know, I'm using a shallow tooth blade on my protege here, and only the corners, of course. So with the clipper lever closed, I'm going to remove that bottom line completely, just erase it completely, and start blending my way into those lines that are still visible. This shallow tooth blade is more precise in detail compared to that deep tooth blade that I have on my Rebel. So With this one, you have to play with this lever and just ease your way into that taper slowly. Don't rush, take your time. Slowly start to open it, of course. As you can see, I'm not rushing at all. I'm trying to keep on bringing this content, which is going to show you the process in real time versus me speeding up the video or having a time-lapse style video, because I want you to see how this whole process is. And kids can be really awkward when it comes down to the haircut service. He is bending all the way down, so I keep trying to pick his head up, but he's really pushing. And I did tell him just to kind of look down, which really helps to just kind of direct the kids, tell them what you need them to do. They should follow instruction. And that's me tapping him on the shoulder, as you can see, trying to help him focus because he was playing with the cape. He was trying to get rid of the hair for some reason. I'm telling him, like, hey man, just if you need anything, just let me know, I'll get rid of it, no problem. So, you know, kids can be a challenge. It's not like an adult. An adult hears you out. Kids kind of hear you out. But some adults will surprise you. Anyway, I'm gonna jump over to my other 0 guard, or my 0.5 guard. This is a wall 0.5 guard. It's a smaller tooth attachment, of course. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to soften that line up a little bit more. And he has that dip in the back of his head, which I can have him sit upright, but kids always tend to just kind of have a mind of their own when they're in a chair, and they will slowly start to slouch back down. So this is the best that I was going to get. If this angle is not all that great, I'm sorry. But also another thing is, even though I have him sit upright, some kids just will always have that dip in the back of their neck, and it's hard to work around. And if you actually pay attention, he actually has 2 more spots that are dipping on the sides, and that's where stretching the skin comes into play. But by just having them hunch over like this slightly is very helpful. In a way, it's kind of like stretching the skin. And sometimes kids do get tired. They're over it, they're sick of it. It's something else, believe me. If you've gone through it, it's some of the worst experience. And sometimes it's some of the funnest and best experiences, because there are lessons as well that come with that. It teaches you patience and how to work with kids, but they are going to work you for that money. If you want that money, they are going to put you to work. But this taper is pretty much completed. What I'm doing right now, I know I kind of drifted there, but I threw a 1.5 guard on here. This is a wall 1.5, and what I like to do with the 1.5 guard is just detail work. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to the lineup. And if you haven't seen the quick help tips that I've been putting out when creating the line around the ear, you take your middle finger and place it on the angle of the jawline. And of course, with your comb or brush hand, you hold with your thumb, you hold that ear down right at the helix and just guide that fixed blade down the neck, around the ear, down the neck to the nape. Slowly. It's simple, very, very simple. I'm gonna throw a short out just breaking down how easy that is. And that was for, of course, the left ear. The left ear is probably the easiest lineup you will ever execute because of how the hair grows on the left side. It's just perfect, it's easy. And if you're a righty, it's definitely easy. If you're able to use both hands, like in my case, I'm definitely ambidextrous. I've been training myself over the years. I'm not all that with it, but it's amazing. Now, really quickly, one thing about the brush, it doesn't pull out or reveal everything that's not been cut. So if you saw what I did, I grabbed a comb and combed out the hair, made sure everything came out, and started to clean that up with a sharper trimmer blade. because at first I did use a completely different trimmer, the Gamma Plus stock blade. Then on this trimmer blade, I have the Protege, which is fixed with a deep tooth cutter blade. Now I'm gonna move over to the right side, and this is where the lefties win at, for real. Exactly why to train your less dominant hand. You have to be very precise with how you go about everything when it comes to holding this ear down, especially if you're a righty. So in my case, I'm a righty. So what I do is on the top of the helix, and the helix is the outer fold, the flap of the ear, you know, you press down right on the top, you know, like, because it's not going to work the same like how it did on the left side. So you press down right there. You know, you can do it from the side here like this. Just make sure you brush everything, of course. You can hold it down just like that, or up the top. You know, you create the first line on top of the ear, right in that front part of the ear. Then you, of course, can do it many different ways. On this side, you can hold it like this. And if that doesn't work out for you, you're not comfortable with, you could do it with 2 fingers like this. Otherwise, this is the easiest way when it comes to executing the right side for me. You tap the front part on the top of the ear right there. Then you, with your pointing finger, hold down the ear. And as you go around the ear down the neck towards the nape, make sure to use your index and pointing finger to balance off the angle of the jaw. It's a little challenging, but it becomes easier the more you do it. And of course, the brush won't pull out everything, so you have to use your comb to pull out all that extra hair, which will definitely be revealed. And go ahead and execute that lineup precisely. This is what you call refining. Refining is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself and your client, because you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not using this technique here by using some trimmer that's a little sharper than the other that you created a baseline with. So you don't want people taking a shower, shampooing their hair, and having a garbage lineup being revealed. Follow the proper steps to produce quality. Do not skip steps. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment. If you know anybody that may find this informative, please share this video. Follow me on my different platforms and subscribe to this channel.